Hello and welcome once again to Vegas Valley Treasures. My name is Kenneth. I am your host, your hand model, and the crazy Vegas Valley treasure hunter. What that means is I go out and buy pretty things and bring them home, and that gets me into trouble because I've got too many things at home that I need to find new homes for. And that's why I'm usually here. But today we're going to be doing a little upcycling. One of the detriments of buying collections of jewelry is you wind up with things that don't exactly work. For example, singlet earrings. And this is a very pretty singlet earring that I have. Unfortunately, because it's just a singlet earring, I've got two choices. Either I can use the earring itself as a bauble or a charm to put on a necklace, but that won't really work for this piece. Or I can try to make use of its components. This one has a lot. To try to make something else, and that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to disassemble this piece here and make use of the beads and hopefully make, I'm thinking a bracelet. There should be more than enough pieces for that. Yeah, and these are interesting beads, so let's get started. Now what I'm going to do is I want to put this into a bag where I'm going to disassemble it because it's going to have a lot of random beads falling, and I don't want them to fall everywhere. I want to be able to organize them quickly rather than having to worry about where they're scattering to. So we're going to snip all of these lovely little strands off the earring here, which I know is very much a shame. I mean, somebody went through a lot of time and effort to make this piece, but as it stood by itself, it was not very useful anymore. And as far as this, I'm going to put this in my craft bin. I'm sure somebody could use this to make another bauble or maybe make a charm out of it, which would require a little bit of glue work. But for right now, it's not very useful to me, so off it goes. And let's continue our disassembly. We'll remove the thread that was holding everything together. There's several of them in this little bag, and that's going to leave me with just the beads that remain. There's two. Luckily, these are coming apart very nicely. Three. For those of you in the area, I mean, this is the benefit of insomnia sometimes, that I get up and decide to just start working. It's 4:45 in the morning here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I haven't been able to sleep for a few hours, so rather than just staring at the television and pretending to sleep, here I am making another video for you. Now, a lot of these beads are going to be very tiny seed beads, and I really don't want to use seed beads if I can avoid them. They really require a beading needle to be useful, or a lot of time to organize the beads themselves. We're going to make use of the larger beads right now. So let's see what we got. We've got these larger cylindrical beads. A little bit of dirt on this one. Let's get that off. That's good. We've got these end beads. We got just generic beads all over the place. We've got a smaller spherical bead, several of those. We've got these silver beads. I'm just going to keep organizing here. And what we'll do is we'll figure out a pattern in which we want to thread these onto a bracelet. I was thinking, because this has the silver beads included, we're trying to make good use of them. We're going to put it on a silver wire, or silver colored wire, I should say, because they're not actually silver, and I don't want to make that an issue here. Okay. beads. I don't want the seed beads. Like I said, they're just too hard to really work with right now. What are you? Oh, you're just another clear bead, but crystal shaped rather than spherical. Let's see. Spherical silver bead. Let's grab as many of these as we can. Okay, we're at the point where there's very little left in here, but the seed beads and the little beads. So we're gonna pour this out of here. It's not perfect, but it's a lot more organized than it would have been if I just let everything spill everywhere. We'll figure out a pattern which we can put these together. Now, there's two basic types of patterns you can make with symmetry. You can make a repeating pattern, so for example, ABC, ABC, or you can make a iterative pattern, like ABA, B, or ABA, C, D, C, and so on. It all depends on how many pieces you have available and what kind of pattern you like to put together. I mean, when you're creating, everything's up to you, right? You could also have a repeating pattern, for example, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. The only thing that you have that constrains you is the materials and your imagination, right? You could also have a cascading pattern, for example, A, B, C, D, have E be the centerpiece to it, and then reverse the order D, C, B, A. Again, everything is up to you when you're creating. Okay, and I've got these little oblong beads. The rest of these are either the small crystal-sized beads or these oblong beads or the seed beads. I hate seed beads. I really hate seed beads. They are just so hard to work with. I don't think I'm going to even use the smaller beads. So let's push this out of the way. I'm going to get rid of these. And I'm going to put these back in the bag quickly. Is there any more of these crystal-sized? Yeah, there's a couple more, because those might be useful. Okay. And we'll just hold this for another potential future project. We don't want to... Well, we can sell the beads as is. I don't know. I just hate seed beads. They're just so hard to work with. I mean, unless you have a beading needle and a very thin piece of elastic or wire, you're not going to be able to get them on anywhere. On a wire, they look horrible because the wire's too stiff. On a piece of elastic, seed beads are just too small to work with to be steady and reliably in place. So what we're gonna be working with this lovely little 28 gauge wire, and we'll put end pieces on it. But for right now, we're just going to thread everything on here. Let's just figure out what we want to do. So we've got 7 of these, 7 of these, and 7 of these. That's going to be the main focus of our pattern. We've got 4 of these double beads and a bunch of these little ones. We've got, oh, look at that, 7 of the round beads, lots of little crystals. So, I don't know. I definitely want to use the larger beads. This one had a little bit of garbage on it. It's fine. Now I could do a pattern with these of, well, if I do a repeating pattern like AB AB, I don't think it's going to look very good. For example, we could do this kind of thing. I would really want to include these, and the fact that we have 7 of them, it's odd. it means that the pattern is only going to get to repeat a total of 7 times. If we do multiple patterns like this, we could certainly expand out. But the question is, what do we want as the centerpiece to it? I mean, this thing looks like it's going to be a little bit bland unless we're working outward with a different pattern. So maybe something like that. And we'll put some spacers in between these beads. As many as we can manage. Right? And then we'll start working out from there. Spacers in between there. And we got these double beads. We'll put as another spacer. I'm starting to like this. It looks like it's going to come together nicely. Okay. And I'm going to run out of these silver spacers, but that's fine. Put another set of these out further. Hope you guys can see how I'm working this. Now, let's see. The clear beads. Those are now singlets. That's not really that helpful. Put these out here. So this is going to be the center area of the bracelet, and we're going to work out from this in this direction. And let's see, we got 2 more like this, and 2 of these. Now let's see how that looks. By itself, I mean, this pattern, it's symmetric, starting at the center bead here, and I think it's enough. That'll look interesting. The only question is, do I need all of it? Because this seems... we'll see. We'll see. Figure it out. So let's start threading the beads. By the by, yes, this is the second video I'm working on this morning because sleep eludes me today. So better to make use of my time productively making a video for you guys rather than just staring at the ceiling or staring at the television doing nothing. And I laid this all out in front of me like this so that I could see the pattern before threading it onto the wire. The first question is, do I have enough length to finish the pattern and make a bracelet, or do I need to shorten it? Because I can always remove pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all the way to the centerpiece and make sure that it's sufficient to fit around my wrist. Well, at least halfway around my wrist. Ooh. What did I do with that one? That's not what I'm looking for. That was a little silver piece. Okay, I've lost one of the silver spacers. Luckily, I have one extra over here. Or was that the silver spacer? That was the... So here, no, that was the round bead, silver spacer. That's what I'm missing, yes, the silver spacer. Luckily, I have one more. I can always locate it later. Come on, get on the... There we go. Okay, maybe I'm crazy. Okay. Maybe that was the one that got away. I just found it again. Okay. So this is now the center of our pattern. Right, up to here. So the question is, will this fit halfway around my wrist, or do we need more length to it? And, well, that looks good to me. You can see that my wrist fits in there, and I can see both sides going around. So this looks like it's a full pattern. That's awesome. So let's continue. And we can always add an extender to it. Besides, my wrist is bigger than a woman's wrist, generally speaking. So this will fit nice and loose around a woman's wrist, or it can even be used as an anklet probably. And if we add an extender to the mix, we will have something that can be used as an anklet. But in the meantime, I mean, we're making good use of what would have been either a piece of craft or garbage, because there was no way that I was going to sell a singlet earring like that. But the beads are useful. Uh-oh. Tell me you'll thread. Okay, good. I was getting worried there for a second. I mean, it should have been clear. I just pulled this off of a thread. But sometimes beads are not made perfect. You gotta figure out how to get them to work properly. I know it shouldn't be a question, but sometimes it is. And there's our full pattern. Let's take a look. So as a wire bracelet, it's more than sufficient to get around my wrist. So it's going to be good enough to be an anklet, or if I wanted to, I could cut the wire and remove the last couple of beads. But yeah, maybe we will, because this is a little bit big. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to remove the last bead on either side. And you notice I can't get to that one until I cut the wire, so we'll take care of that in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple of ends on this. So we'll grab a pair of jump rings, and we'll grab a lovely lobster clasp. I always keep my little supplies available for me and handy, and here come the tools. Okay, so I'm going to leave this end here until I've closed this end. So we're going to take the jump ring and insert it over the wire and fold the wire over. And we're going to twist this closed to create an end point. The way we do that is we hold on to the wire with our little pliers here and twist the ring. And what that gives us the benefit of not opening the ring, and creating the end point. And we'll slowly move the pliers down, so we're actually creating a twist of wire. Notice it's not closed yet, but this is creating a twist above, or actually below the jump ring. Not so much that it's doing anything except just twisting over itself once. Well, did I break the wire, or did I? Nope, I opened the jump ring, didn't I? So let's put this back on. Looks like the jump ring itself was a little bit open, which was enough to let this thing release. There it is. Let's close it up nicely. There we go. Okay, let's get back to it. We're going to slowly work my pliers down as I twist to allow more of the wire to twist together. still have this little end piece here. I'm going to try to snip that off. Or I could keep twisting until it's closed. That should be sufficient. And I will crimp down the end of it to make it as close to a single thread of wire as I can. There it is. And we will work the beads back so that now the last bead here is going to cover the twisted wire. Very good. Now we're going to cut this with a little bit of extra length so that we have something to work with. Since we removed the end bead from the pattern, we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we don't need this bead. Very good. And we're going to do something similar on this side. So we're going to take our jump ring. Well, let's make sure this jump ring is closed because we have that problem on the other one. Sometimes larger jump rings come where they're overlapping rather than being closed. I'll make this plier better for this purpose. Good. And we're going to again put it over the wire, and we're going to work it as close as we can without going crazy, and we're going to twist it down as much as we can. So we're going to fold it over like that, grab our little pliers. So this is going to do two things. One, it's going to close the bracelet. It's going to, well, actually three things. It's going to close the bracelet and give us an end point, which is the second thing, but more importantly, it's going to leave just a little bit of play among the beads for them to move along the wire. Why do we need that? Well, if the wire was taut, it would have no flexibility to be shaped into what we need. If the wire was loose, you'd have a lot of play in the beads, and it would look like the piece itself was not very well designed. But if you leave just a little bit, and I'm talking like about half, well, probably, what is that, quarter of an inch maybe, and set it up in such a way that the beads can go over it, it doesn't look bad, and you have something where the user has flexibility and the beads can move, and it still looks functionally beautiful. See what I mean? Now we need to add on the lobster claw, and I'm going to be cheesy about that. I'm going to add another jump ring to one of the ends a little bit smaller, so that I don't have to open the jump ring that's currently on the bracelet, and use that to attach the lobster claw. If you open up the jump ring here, you run the risk of unthreading it from the bracelet wire that you spent the time closing. Cool. And I'm going to actually do something similar on the other side. I'm going to add another jump ring here, so that when the user of the bracelet, use the same size as before, attaches to it, they're not potentially opening the closed jump ring that is again attached to the wire. A little bit of extra play. And if we wanted to attach an extender, which is not the worst idea either, you would attach it to this jump ring rather than risking opening up the connection to the wire. I know, I may not have the best ideas on how to build jewelry, but this is how I think about it. meantime, we've got a lovely completed bracelet. It's got a decent pattern. I like the color because, I mean, the beads were already organized to be working together. And just big enough. Fit on my wrist without even opening the clasp. So this is probably an anklet sized piece. Of course, that's up to the user and what they decide to use it as. We're done. Do I have anything that I could use immediately? Yeah, let's add a little extender to it, just a little bit. So I've got this little piece of chain handy. We'll grab a few links. Nothing spectacular. Thinking 4 little links. And we will attach it to the jump ring right here. Never hurts to give a little flexibility. That's done. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us again. If you've seen any pieces that you like, that you want me to put out for sale, please let me know in the comments. If you have any questions about what I did today, again, leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer you. As always, if you want some of the jewelry that I have available, go and visit my little store on Whatnot. That's whatnot.com or the Whatnot app under the name VegasValleyTreasures, one word. In the meantime, I am Kenneth. I am your host, your hand model, your jewelry creator of the moment, and the crazy Vegas Valley treasure hunter. I hope you've had fun, and as always, enjoy your jewelry. Thank you. Bye-bye.